No. Hush. Guys. Sharing this out real quick. Okay. One more place and then I'm done. And then I'll just get into the topic. Excuse me. Okay. So, one sec. I want to see if I can share this on my Facebook group. I hope so. Okay. So the one thing I wanted to talk about today is magic. This is a topic that has multiple standpoints, multiple different points of view. And I've read most of the occult books that are out there. Not all of them. I kind of nitpick what I wish to look at and what I wish to learn. And that's just because I'm more of a traditional path worker, working with the traditions I was grown up in and raised in. So that includes working with fairies, working with the Egyptians, working with the Norse pagans and theirs, and I'm working with a lot of other entities. Um, what people consider demons, if you will, I've grown up working with. But the point of today's video is for those who are finding their path, those who are trying to learn something new, learning something that isn't readily available for everyone. And the reason being is from everything I've read, from Silver Ravenwolf to, let's see, Cassandra Eason, Scott Cunningham, Raymond Buckland, and all these other authors on magic. Everything I've read, everything was similar, but everything is always different. But that's what I like about the craft, the way of the witch. It's very unique and it's very delicate, very beautiful in its own unique way. Because the magic of it, the beauty of it, can be tailored to the individual. And that can be seen in everyone's path work. Everyone has a different opinion, a different point of view. But we all study the same form of basics, but we just have different prayers, different spells, if you will. So, one thing that I found that is very much important for any person who works in magic is the uniqueness of the self. The self in our entirety are different from everyone that's around us. Everyone that makes us who the influences changes our perceptions of reality. So in magic, it's all about changing that perception, changing how you see things and how you work with things. And to me, in magic, there are three main components. Three main components of magic. Three main components of the essence of energy that is invoked in spell work, spell crafting. Um, it's interesting because there's a lot of things that can be seen in nature. There's a lot of not misconceptions. There's a lot of fluffiness in today's society. Of magic is the personal power, which is from the self. Your beliefs, your desires, your intention. That is one of the three components. Neither one of the three components in magic is greater than the other, but they're all equally important. So, personal power. What is personal power? Well, that's the self. What is personal power to you? Why do you wish to go into magic? Why do you wish to study or practice magic? What drives you to study? What drives you to the path of a witch? What draws you to the mysticism of the unknown? What is it that you want to learn from the path? That is personal power. To me, personal power is all about the self. It's all about what you want. What is your intent? What intent are you putting into what you are doing? That is that time and dedication. And then there is the elemental power, the power of the earth, the elements, the spirits, if you will, that are the elementals. Every witch that I've met have worked with the elements in some form, but not necessarily in the form of elementals. They just call upon the energy of the elements to be with them, to help empower their ritual or rite. And you can use herbs, you can use stones, you can use candles to amplify the energy, the earth energy, into the ritual. And there's so much other uniqueness in it that is very interesting because the elemental powers is vast and it's very untapped potential in today's society. Not many people tend to delve too deeply into the elements, which is something that I feel that it kind of needs to be more touched up on because everybody's seen the elements on the tip of the iceberg, but there's like so much more things that need to be learned about the elements because if you throw in certain elements together, sometimes they won't mix. So like fire and water. Water can evaporate fire can evaporate water, but water can douse the fire. There are certain elements that you don't mix, and there are certain elements that when put together can amplify anything a great deal. But you have to be careful with what you're putting together. So certain elements mixed together can create new elements, new uniqueness, new energies that can be explored. The third component is the divine, the heavenly power, the gods and goddesses, spirit, however you wish to call the divine, it's up to you. Whatever divine energy you put into it. It could even be your higher self, which the higher self is also uniquely attuned to the divine energies and divine frequencies of the god and goddess. It's something that is vastly untapped, but I do suggest that you find what works best for you. For me, I work more with the dragon goddess and the dragon gods, but that's just me. And, and there's so many other gods and goddesses that you guys can work with, from Bast or Bastet to Hathor to Isis to Hera, Aphrodite, and so many others that are very good to work with. You can work with one of them, or you can work with all of them. That same thing goes with the gods. It's really up to you. Whether you want to worship a god or a goddess or both. That's entirely up to you. It's your path. So this is to help you find your path. So it's all about you. You have to first, to me, as a witch, you have to first know yourself before you can delve into anything too deep. If you can't understand yourself, how are you to understand others or anything else around you? Know yourself, know your craft, apply knowledge with wisdom, and all this other good things. But what you don't do, and I will repeat this because when it comes to beginners and beginner magic, there is a balance. There is no good or evil, good or bad. Everything has its place. Everything has a balance in itself. But today's society of New Agers, those who are studying Wicca, are more fluffy to me because they're not willing to put in the effort to understanding the shadow self, or delving too deep into who they are, reaching the potentials that who they are. And this is very troublesome. Well, to me anyways. And that's just because they're not learning themselves. They're thinking that they can impress people with who they are. One major rule for me that I follow is that you don't impress with robe or wand to prove a point. You don't express yourself to someone else. You don't have to prove yourself to someone else. You don't have to even tell anybody who you are. Let them find out for themselves. Let them figure out the answer to who you are. Because the more you talk and talk and talk and talk about your practices, about what you do, you're going along the line of impressing others, which to me, secrecy and magic, silence and magic, both are needed. You don't go and spout off that you're casting this spell at this time for this specific reason. And the reason being is if you do that and another witch catches wind, and that witch figures out, oh, they're doing this, they can go and mess with you because they'll know exactly when you're going to do it and how and what it's for, that spell. And it really muddles with your energies. So so I got my Book of Shadows out, and that's just because there's a point to touch up on. But this is the 13 goals of a witch, which I kind of actually, I'm not necessarily, because it kind of corresponds to the beliefs and ethical. So 1 is to know yourself. 2 is to know your craft. 3 to learn and grow. 4 is to apply knowledge with wisdom. 5 is to achieve balance. 6 is to keep your words in good order. Then keep your thoughts in good order. then celebrate life, then tune to the cycles of the earth, breathe and eat correctly, exercise the body, meditate, and then the final one, the 13th one, is honor the god and or goddess. And the few things in this particular part that I kind of enjoy the most and I keep true is to know yourself, to know your craft, to apply knowledge with wisdom. I work to achieve balance. I keep my thoughts and words in good order. I celebrate all of life so I don't regret at the time of my death. So I don't have to worry that if I die, what am I to leave behind? I won't worry about it because death is only another beginning. I tune to the cycles of the earth, the will of the year. I strive to breathe and eat correctly and to exercise my body. That way I remain healthy and strong. But meditation is definitely a key in magic because you have to learn how to visualize and keep your intent in your mind and all this. And honoring the god and or goddess is the 13th one because you don't necessarily have to truly honor a god or goddess or god and goddess to walk your path. It's entirely up to you. You can worship both or one, as I stated earlier. That's entirely up to you. But to the point, little seen gets more done. And this is taken from the Dragon Ethics by DJ Conway on Dragon Magic. And this is more of the ethics that I follow in doing my magic. I'm more of a left-handed. I don't bullshit. I don't stand down. I don't back down. I don't run and hide. I don't have to do what I need. I don't have to even do anything to get something that is needed to be done. And the reason being is because to me, humility and respect speaks dignity of the messenger. Or rather, how it's written here, little seen gets more done. So instead of impressing people with robe and wand, be dedicated to your path. Do what you need to do. Do what is necessary for you to learn and grow. Then there's look for the truth in the heart of hearts. That is certainly true. Each one of these ethics has a different meaning for any person. To me, looking for truth in the heart of hearts isn't about detecting truth or a lie, but it's all about listening to the wisdom and words from within, from the heart, not letting it kind of, oh, he must be lying, because that's not possible. Nothing's impossible out of your head. Nothing is impossible. There is no such thing as impossibility, because then that would mean life is full of impossibilities that even we could not comprehend. So, in the heart of hearts, look for the truth within and listen to others and hear the truth that they speak and see if it resonates with you. So, the third one that I follow and I keep true to myself is that a lie burns both the liar and silent listener. And yes, of course, if you lie, you will get caught up in the lie, and it will hurt, and it will burn. And if you guys are wondering why I'm looking in certain directions, it's because I have a mirror right here, which reflects me. And then over here, I have a picture of Isis and Osiris. And then over here, I have a plaque made of as above, so below, God and Goddess, with my name in between. But those are my places of power where I can draw wisdom from. I can draw wisdom from the stones that are before me on my altar right here. A lie will always burn a liar, no matter what. And the silent listener will also pay a price because they would have known the lie but kept going with it. So be true to the responsibility of balance. Nature is balance. There is duality. There is the male and female, the dark and the light. The balance is needed in all aspects. It cannot be changed. What you send out comes back to you like a pendulum. Let's see here. Like a pendulum. What you bring out comes back to you, or what you send out comes back. So it's the pendulum swing, back and forth by nature, unless you give yourself the control. Strive for balance, equal take and equal bless and curse, equal halves of the same whole. Source energy is neither good or evil. It is both. It is both male and female. So think of it like this. The gods are two halves in the balance. In nature, the goddess is seen as the dark, destructive, the chaotic, the bringer of life, whereas the male is seen as light. He brings life, he breathes life, and he creates life. Yet he's also destructive, just as the goddess is ever futile, or fertile, I should say, fertile in how she presents herself. Both are needed. Balance is needed. You can't go off and throw things out of balance just because you feel like it. You have to remember there is a balance. So the next one is silence and magic. Both are needed. For a practitioner, this is the most truthful, as I stated before. Anyone can tamper with your magic. The more you tell, the more energy is drained away. But the more who learn to respect you, the more power you can have. So it's more or less that you don't speak of magic. You don't speak of spell work unless you're doing a spell for someone else and you can tell them. But you have to remember that if they tell someone or they don't believe or have belief in your magic, the spell will either not work or it won't work at all. And I'll kind of touch up on that one in another video on when magic doesn't work. So on here, you have honor your elders, for they carry ancient wisdom. This is true as much as it was, or as much as it is today as it was in centuries prior. Except honoring the elders, honoring those who have come before, isn't necessarily what it means. Although the old ones, the grandparents, carry ancient wisdom, if they are rude, unpleasant, and don't have any dignity, to be respectful and things like that, proceed with caution, but take into consideration what they have learned from their path and be grateful for it. But you don't have to truly invite that in. You can walk away. It's your choice. But honor those who have walked the path ahead of you, and honor the wisdom that they had learned before you, that they bring to you. Because every good thing and bad thing that happens makes us who we are. It makes us us. We learn from both aspects. We learn from the mistakes. We learn to become better. From everything that has harmed us, we learn to grow and become stronger so we can move forward with pride and dignity. So the next one is that evil gives no forewarning, nor a pause for relief. This right here is true for any new beginner. No matter what, evil will not tell you if it's going to happen. So it's best to always be protected. Always have a circle or talisman of protection. Always know the ways that you can learn to protect yourself from entities, from other spirits that may come to harm you. This is why in a beginner's study, it is always good to study the basics, the art of grounding, meditating, cleansing, purifying, balancing, harmonizing, and even learning to shield, to guard and protect yourself against unwanted vibrations, unwanted energies. Dignity speaks well of a messenger. I'll leave that one for you guys to interpret. You color your own light is as true as anything else. Everyone's unique. Everyone's going to have a different color, a different vibration. Everyone's going to be totally unique from one another. Not any one given person will look the same. You color your own light, meaning you make up who you are. No one else. Only you. Your beliefs make you, you. So your choices make you, you. They can only influence you, but it's up to you whether you believe it or you go with it yourself. And then the final one is that what happens to one stone reflects on all. So I'm trying to think of it. So I'm trying to think of an analogy for this. But if you have a group of marbles, and you have, or if you, I'm not sure if you guys remember the game of marbles, where the marbles are inside the giant circle, and you have to throw the bumblebees and other marbles to kind of get the marbles out of the circle. It's kind of like that. If you toss in a giant marble into the pile, what happens to them all? What happens to one stone reflects on all. They all move. So you have to kind of be careful with what you're doing. Because what you're doing, essentially, if you change something, you're ultimately changing and you're creating like a domino effect. Well, if you knock one thing over, you can set off an entire chain of events leading into the future, which we won't be able to comprehend until after the fact. So before you do any heinous or disastrous acts, think before you act. This is where the studies of the virtues will come in for any given practitioner, which I do suggest the book The Moral Compass, which isn't an occult book, but it's a very good book to read, which I've actually read because of my U.S. history teacher, Mr. Jones, and bless his heart. But he was very, very much inspirational. So I have that feeling like so many people in magic have forgotten what true magic is. Magic isn't about waving a magic wand around, or saying an incantation or a spell and raising a staff to the skies or tapping it on the ground, invoking and inhaling to the spirits, the watchtowers, and all that, magic isn't about that. Magic isn't about being flashy. Magic isn't spontaneous. It's not Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's not spontaneous magic. It's not like you can throw a fireball out of your hands at any given person. You can't create that type of energy. It's not possible. It's really not possible. A witch is a healer. They are true to the balance. They are true to nature. They are true to the energies of the earth and the cosmos. To me, a true witch will strive for balance, unity, and harmony for the good of all. This is why in the old days we were known as the wise ones. And I find it funny to some extent because there are so many different interpretations of what a witch is. And to me, when it comes to that terminology of white or black witch, gray witch, blue witch, green witch, hedge witch, eccentric witch, and all this other type of witches, is it doesn't matter what you call yourself. You're still a practitioner of witchcraft, magic, energy using, working with the elements, what have you, whatever your path is, you're still creating change on some level. It's not a toy. It really isn't. Magic is not a toy. It's not a game. It's literally not Dungeons and Dragons. It's not World of Warcraft. You can't just cast spells because you feel like it. You can't just cast spells to get what you want. There has to be a balance. So my advice to all those who are wishing to be a beginner, it's kind of best to figure out where you want to go. You have to kind of delve into yourself first before you delve deeper into magic. You have to learn the deep hard basics, which I might cover in later videos over the course of the next few months. Which I actually do have another set of videos that I want to do, which is all about the stories of the medicine animals or animal medicines, which I do find that it will be of great importance to hear the stories, as each one shows a different perspective of not just Native American history or the stories and the core, not principles, morals, but they will also help you to understand the gifts in nature. So another good thing for beginners is you get rid of the fact that magic should be spontaneous. Get rid of what you believe a witch to be, as it's not necessarily true. Figure out what a witch means to you. A witch isn't flashy. We don't cast spells and we don't get what we want right then and there. Magic takes time, dedication, and energy to manifest our desire. We utilize rituals, incantations, and spells to help us manifest what we need into this reality, into this world. So take, for example, if I wanted to do a healing on someone, it can be anyone. So take this tea light candle, for example. It's white. White is an all-purpose color because white is blank, bland, and it can be used for almost anything. Whereas the opposite of white, black, can be used for dark purposes, dark magic. It can be used for banishing, protection, and I've sometimes used it to kind of bring about the goddesses, the dark goddesses, and the dark god, because his fire is black. So take this tea light candle. I'm not going to get too much into the oils, but into the oils now, but I'm going to just show you guys a simple spell that you guys can do with a tea light candle. So take for example, if you use a tea light candle and you need something done, or you need a prayer of some sort. Maybe I'm going to use this real quick. Well, use this to kind of bring this up. This is my Sacred Paths cards, which is my shamanic type of deck that I use and utilize in my practice. So I'm trying to figure out how to do this so that way you guys can see it. So take this tea light, for example. Stating your intent, placing your intent into the candle. What is it that you wish to accomplish? Would go into the candle. What is it that you wish to accomplish? See yourself accomplishing what you desire, or imagine yourself having what you desire. But you can't do this with love. Don't do it with love, for that would be very, 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 very wrong. And I'll kind of touch up on the different forms of magic, the different types of spells. But for this tea light candle, I don't suggest using it for love, just through intent. But you can ask for love to flow to you, but you won't ask for love from a specific person. To me, you don't utilize magic to draw in a specific person. You don't draw in money from a specific area. You don't draw in what you want from a specific person, place, or thing, but you allow the universe to deliver what you need from the universe. So let's say if I wanted money or healing, well, yeah, I'll go with money. So you take, to me, I normally use green adventurin and like other things, but I'm not going to show you guys that. No use. I'll get into deeper magic like that. So just a simple prayer. So lighter, I call to the elements of earth, air, fire, and water. I light this candle to answer my prayer. Spirits of the air, spirits of the fire, spirits of the water, spirits of the earth, come forth and answer my urgent prayer. Money come to me with harm to none, so mote it be. For it is what I will, so shall it be. All of prosperity come to me with harm to none, so mote it be. Love for one and love for all, love be given once and for all. To the universe I gladly give prosperity and love to all to give. As is my will, so mote it be. Which, that's a more complicated one. But for you guys, I would suggest keeping it simple. You can even use I am prosperity, or prosperity is with me. Love is with me. Love come to me. And things of that nature with the tea light candles. So, all you beginners, it's time to let go. get your little, if you will, and take notes and meditate. Ask yourself these questions. Who am I? Am I? Who am I? Who am I? Why do I wish to study magic? Why do I wish to study magic? To study magic. What does magic mean to me? Ask yourselves these questions. And if you wish to gain popularity, then magic isn't for you. If you can't put in the time and effort to become dedicated to the path, to study the works of the arcane or archaic energies, to work with primordial forces, the unseen worlds, wouldn't be the best suit, because there are things in this universe that need to be shown respect. And if you lack decent humility to the path, how are you to respect others? In law, you must, in perfect love and perfect trust. 8 words the Wiccan read for Phil, and you harm none, do what you will. For what you send out comes back to thee. So, a rule of 3, or ever mind the rule of 3, what you send out comes back to thee, with harm to none. I don't really follow the and read, so I'm a little screwy on the last part. I could have swore I had it written somewhere. Well, I'll get back to that one, the Wiccan read. But the 8 words the Wiccan read for Phil, and you harm none, do what you will. That's true. It's not our place to judge others. It's not our place to tell people what they can and cannot believe. It's not our place to tell people what they can and cannot do. That's not us. That's not our way. Everyone has the right to believe what they want to believe. Everyone has the right to do what they want, so long as they harm none. Except that rule, to me, is harm but take no shit. If somebody attacks you, that gives you the mystical, magical right to defend yourself. And that means you can attack them back because they've attacked you first. Then would I delving a little bit deeper into the dark magic. And then practitioner, for a beginner, I do suggest that for the year and the day, you delve into the practice through the basics, meaning you're learning how to cast a circle, how to invoke the watchtowers of each direction, how to invoke the elements, the elemental powers, how to call upon the gods and goddesses, how to commune and speak with spirits, how to awaken yours, how to work with all these energies, how to sense energy and all this, the psychic gifts, psychic awareness. I suggest that you kind of delve deeper into those aspects and you learn to protect, you learn to ground, cleanse, and purify. And you stick to the basics for the year and the day, or up to 6 months within the year and the day. But you have to make sure that you truly understand what you know and put it to practice. If you don't practice what you learn, then you're not truly learning what you've read or what you've been taught. If you don't practice it, you won't find where you're lacking. Excuse me. You won't find where you're lacking in what you know. You won't know where you need to work inner and learn it to its extent. Learn the abilities of healing, tact. Learn to clear, cleanse, pure, create barriers, protections, shield, and talisman. Learn the white magic, if you wish, before you delve into the deeper aspects of love magic, money magic, and all this. Learn the basics within the year and the day, and then in the next step, beyond the year and the day, when you delve a little bit deeper into who you are, then you can go into the next further knowledges, the knowledge of the astrology, the numerology, and so forth. So if you don't feel like you're ready to move on after a year and a day, don't move on. Go back and study. Begin the process all over again for another year and a day. And then relearn what you've already learned to make sure that you can fully comprehend what you're doing. If you rush, you won't get anywhere. If you're too slow, you're basically not dedicated. If you're too slow at your own pace, do what you need to do at your own pace. Learn at your own pace. But remember to keep it up. Keep everything up to date. Keep logs of your daily practice. Keep logs of what you've done, what's worked. Create your own incantations, create your own rituals, your own spells. But remember that everything in magic is secret. You are the most magnificent being, the most powerful tool you have. A witch is the most powerful tool in magic, in spell crafting, in ceremonial work. The witch is the ultimate tool, thus revered of all tools. And that is why we must practice daily. So that way we're not using our power to deter or add in fear where it is not needed. We strive unity and harmony without being destructive. We seek not to be superior, but to deliver the messages of love to all things. And on top of that, this is my opinion, but we help to heal others, but we do not force ourselves upon another. That isn't our way. That isn't a witch. If a witch forces you to this and this is the only way, you can only do it this way. There's no other way. I have news for you. That's not true. There's multiple ways for any given thing. So delve into your practices. Do your research. And it's best for you. And be true to who you are. Don't let other people tell you what you can and cannot do. Magic is infinite. There is no right or wrong answer. You make up your own path, your own destiny. No one else can change it but you. So why let others tell you what you can and cannot do if you are the one who is walking your path, not them? Be true to your heart. Be true to yourself. So with that said, love and light, you guys. And may you guys be blessed by the God and Goddess always.